cannot use that kind of foul language.
I was going to say, the funny part is that we have all these rules about things we can't say on the stream and language we can't use, and we're about to play South Park.
We're about to play South Park. Well, we are about to play South Park. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 4 p.m. on Thursday afternoon, and that means it's time for Joystiq streams. I was about to say South Park streams, which is only partially accurate, because today we are streaming South Park: The Stick of Truth, the new role-playing game made by Obsidian Entertainment and South Park Studios. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park, wrote this game. Obsidian, the guys behind Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 and Alpha Protocol, made it, and Ubisoft published it, although they weren't going to be the first ones to publish it. Playing the game today is none other than Joystiq's Sam Prell.
Lovely Sam Prell.
Lovely Sam Prell. Who reviewed South Park: The Stick of Truth for us. How you doing, Sam?
I'm doing very well. The sun is shining, the snow is melting, and I've got a game to show off to a couple dozen or more people.
Yeah, before you load up your save file, a little bit of a disclaimer before this Joystiq streams. This is going to be a little bit of a ribald game compared to the typical family fare. Joystiq streams is a family show. Not really. It's really not at all. This is not a family show. We like to bring the noise. We play violent games. We play ridiculous games.
Maybe the Manson family.
Maybe the Manson family. But it should be noted that South Park: The Stick of Truth, this is the uncensored version of South Park: The Stick of Truth. There are things that you may find offensive in this game, and not just language. So, you've been warned. Sam, you are going to bring us a little bit into the game, right? Not from the beginning. Where are we picking up the action here?
Right, so I'm going to go ahead and load up the save file right now and kind of explain to you where it is as it's loading. So, at this point in the game, I wanted to start a place fairly far in, like enough that we weren't like going to be sitting through tutorials, but at the same time not too far as to avoid like spoilers. So where we are right now is Koopa Keep, the kingdom of Koopa Keep.
Douchebag, you better stock up on some power-ups and potions. The inn of the Giggling Donkey is a dangerous place.
Where Grand Wizard Cartman has tried to rally all of his human warriors so that we can go fight the elves who have stolen the Stick of Truth. So right now, the Kingdom of Koopa Keep is only populated by Scott Mitchelson. I think that's his last name. Scott's his first name.
I've got Malcolm.
Yeah. He has the power of diabetes. And so he's just there to man the shop while everybody else is on their way to a place called the Inn of the Giggling Donkey, which is where an elven ally known as the Bard is supposedly keeping the stick. So we're gonna go to the Inn of the Giggling Donkey and crash his party.
My God, you know, everybody in the chat is noting that
there it is.
It really does look just like the show.
It really does.
It is.
Are you sure the Bard is hiding out in there?
How much it looks like the show. Like, it just looks like an episode.
Sorry, that's what the Carrier Raven said. Raven, you can guard the back door.
Elias Bakos in the chat wanted to note that they really like your personally made character, Sam.
The Inn of the Giggling Donkey.
It looks like a young Trent
Glass of
Reznor.
needle wine, please.
It's a very
no needle wine today, only fairy ale.
I'm surprised you pick out all those features. Actually, my character was originally modeled after...
Anyone seen the Bard lately?
David Tennant, the 10th Doctor from Doctor Who. So you can't see his, like, spiked hair, but that's what he's got, and then he's wearing the,
A cup of fairy ale isn't much
glasses,
if not
of
accompanied by some bardic poems and
Naturally.
Sure, he's here, all right. He's
So I
got a
don't
room
know
down in the
if
cellar.
people heard while
and I shall pay
the
handsomely for
cutscene
his
was
services.
playing.
Sir Douchebag?
But,
Butters,
so
douchebag,
Butters
go
was
down
like,
and
the
flesh
Bard
him
is
out.
hanging out
Princess
here.
King
That's
will
what
be waiting
Twitter
here to
says.
murder him. Remember, the
And
Bard can
then
use songs
Cartman's
to
like,
enchant. Don't get
Carrier
it.
Ravens, Butters. So, again, it's a big theme throughout the game that everything is play pretend. You know, they intercept messages from the other camp by Twitter, which they pretend are carrier ravens. So let's go find this bard.
You think the bard's really down here?
I'm pretty sure he is, Butters.
Oh, I love
Hello?
that Terrence and Philip are in the loading screen. That makes me so happy.
Terrence and Philip are criminally underutilized in this game. I will spoil that for you, but we'll go.
Oh, Jesus, it's the bard!
So, Sam, what is it that you are looking for in this basement again?
The bard who just
Prepare
appeared.
for battle.
At least on my screen, I know there's a Twitch delay. But like I said, the bard is an ally of
You should have never
the
come here,
elves,
you
and
humans.
he's
I am a level
supposedly
10
got the
bard,
stick.
and with my lute, I shall power up my elven guards with magical songs of enchant. With magical songs of enchant. With magical songs of enchant. Magical songs of enchant.
Of course.
Magical songs of enchant.
Of course it's Jimmy.
Magical songs of enchant. With magical songs of enchant.
So you're gonna get to this when the
magical
stream
songs of
catches
enchant.
up. But
Magical
there's a
songs of
button for
enchant.
hold B to skip
Magical songs
as
of
he
enchant.
stumbles over words. The first time I played this, I literally sat here for like 15 minutes just letting it go so that I could see if he said anything else. And he
There once was
never
a maiden
does.
from Stoneberry Hollow. She didn't
I
talk much,
love
but boy did she
that-
swallow.
It's so funny because at this point, the first time that you ever see the South Park characters play it fantasy was all the way back right after the Lord of the Rings movies were coming out in like 2002 and 2003.
Right.
And like the fact that the game is built in like
By the
with
hammer of Butters!
literally decade-old references at this point as just a
we'll see if it
foundation for a
works.
little bit of humor is brilliant. I love that.
That was close!
So, explain how
Hey, I'm lucky.
the battles are working here. What are you doing? What are you needing to take into consideration
I have a nice lance that she set
as you
up.
pick what Butters and
The
your
maiden from Stoneberry who is also
and your little David
mom.
Tennant-looking dude are doing?
Right, so the way that combat works is you have one buddy at a time. Right now my buddy is Butters. And then you have I can't remember how many people can fit on a screen as enemy-wise, but I think the most I saw was 6.
Come on!
So you've got a couple different rows and columns of enemies. So like the archers right now, for example, are hiding behind
You're not waiting on me, are you?
the melee guy. So I can't go up and slash at them with like my dagger, and neither can Butters. He can't hit them with his hammer
sucks.
because they're hiding behind him. So you have to pick out which place you want to aim at, and then when you choose an attack, so like I'm
Wait,
going to
whose
choose
turn is
the swordsman here, and I'm going to do an attack on him. You'll see my weapon will flash, and I have to press either A to do a regular attack, X to do a power attack, or Y to do a magical or fart attack. So
Let's
since
go,
I
asshole!
want to set him on fire, I'm going to do a fart attack.
If I had a nickel for every single time I said I am going to use a fart attack when I am playing a video game, I would probably have about 15 cents
hammer of
prior
Butters!
to playing South Park, to say the truth.
That was the most perfect throw I've ever seen.
All of those previous 3 times I would say that I was preparing a fart attack were all
You're
Boogeyman
straight
related too. All of them.
So that's
No,
what I
no,
described
maiden
as
from
the
Stoneberry Hollow.
offensive side.
She didn't talk much, but boy did she swallow.
God, Jimmy's song. But when it comes to defense, you'll also see that like a little white disc appears under the character's feet, and that's your cue to press the block button. If you don't press it, then you're going to take a much bigger hit than you would otherwise.
Gosh,
So
I think I'm dead.
let's see. Do the execute move to execute this guy.
I love when
Hurry up!
RPGs ask you to stay active during the battles. Obviously, what is happening here when you're pressing the attack button again when you land a hit is sort of similar to what you see in Super Mario RPG and the Paper Mario series, but not quite as advanced as what you see in very active turn-based RPG systems like in Shadow Hearts or Lost Odyssey.
I think I just found a new bottom
Do you think it sort of strikes a nice balance? Do you like the way it keeps you active and paying attention?
I will protect this
I
stick
like
of truth.
that you have to pay attention because a lot of the enemies' moves, depending on who you're fighting, because you fight some pretty ridiculous things, a lot of them become very funny to watch. Like, later on in the game, and I mentioned this one as an example in my review, Al Gore gives a presentation on global warming.
Is he super serial?
He is super serial of Manberpeg. So it's like by making the player be an active participant in battle and like timing your button presses, you have to watch the enemy's attacks, which are entertaining. So I would say that the combat itself is kind of repetitive, but it's also entertaining when you're fighting, you know, some interesting enemies like that.
So how do you level up? Like once you've finished a battle, like is it just automatic? You get to pick what stats and attributes you take on. That's a very Obsidian style feature. They're very much of that old school RPG. You pick what specific aspects of your characters you want to build up.
Yeah, you'd think so, but no, it's all automatic. I'll go into a menu here and show how leveling up works. So when you go to level up, you don't really choose your stats per se, your health points or endurance or anything like that. The only thing you really choose are your abilities and your perks, and perks are actually somewhat separate from leveling. So let's see, I'm not actually high enough level to do any of those, and I don't have any upgrades, but you can see that I've leveled up my backstab all the way, and you get those points, upgrade points, to sink into up to 5 abilities, and you just unlock those as you level. So Backstab and Mug are my 2 thief abilities that I start with, and then I've unlocked Execute, and there's 2 more that I haven't unlocked yet because I'm not high enough level. And then when you sink a point into them, they become more effective. So like Backstab, just sinking 1 point into it just increases the damage. And then sinking 5 points into it, if a target is stunned when you backstab them, your backstab does even more damage.
Sam, Deadeye Jones 78 in the chat is asking if there is high replay value in South Park: The Stick of Truth. And, you've completed the game. Do you think that this is something that you could go back into and have a different experience with?
Not particularly.
No.
Not really. I mean, there's a couple times in the game where it asks you to make a choice, but like many games that feature choice, nothing really changes. So, like, making the moral choice that you have to make in the game doesn't really change much, and the story is always going to be the same. The jokes are always going to be the same. There's not a whole lot of extra content to flesh out and do side quests. And since every class can wear every piece of armor and use every weapon, like, my character's a thief, but if I want to, I can wear a druid crown. Like, there's no stopping me from doing that. So it really doesn't change that much depending on what class or anything you play as.
There are multiple calls for more farts and less menus. When do we see the farts?
Right now. I'm gonna. So.
Ow, my egg.
They're never far
I think
away.
it might be broken. Maybe I should take a look at it.
You're never more than a few seconds away from some farts.
Right. That's actually one of the things I like about the game is that it does kind of blur the line between in-game combat, or in combat and out of combat. So what I just did right there was, I used the environment to take out some elves.
Your word is the command.
By farting on an open flame, because I can throw my farts by cupping a spell.
Yes, sir.
We're all grown adults here.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are all adults here.
Can you get us upstairs?
Guitar
Oh, no, we
Girl
locked
in the chat
we could be stuck in here forever.
appears
Nothing a
to
level
have
12
finished
thief
the
can't
game
take
as
care
well.
of. You guys go
and
ahead.
he's saying, there's not he's echoing what you just said, Sam, that there is not a huge amount of replay value. It's not as though you're going to go into Cartman's mom's dresser and find a brand new marital aid that was not there before.
Right.
But, the funny thing to me is, approaching a South Park game, I would think about this in a very, very different way in terms of replay value than I would, a role-playing game like Skyrim. Because, over 17 years of South Park, I have watched all of those episodes like 2 or 3 times at minimum, and then there's other ones that I've seen like 10 times, 20 times over the years, and I still love them.
Right.
And, great comedy is the kind of thing that you can watch over and over and over again and appreciate new nuances. Do you think, you'll go back into South Park, Stick of Truth, from that perspective? Just being like, this made me laugh, so I want to see it again.
I could see that happening, honestly. I mean, it'll just be a while. I don't want to watch as funny as I find it, I don't want to watch the episode Make Love Not Warcraft 3 times in a row.
Right.
So I could see myself coming back to it, just, I need a little break.
Yeah.
Alright, Butters. It's funny that, Butters is such a weak little dork in the show, and he is totally, easily my favorite, my favorite buddy in the game. Like, he's...
Well, that's always that's the secret behind Butters as a character, is that Butters is super hardcore, and you'd never expect it. Like in the one, when he becomes a gentleman entrepreneur, if you will.
Ah, crap, I forgot he was recording. I just hurt myself because I forgot that the dude was in a reflecting stance. Let's see.
Sam, can you change the speed of the fights?
No, everything has to happen as fast as it happens. Like there's no speeding up or slowing anything down. And I suspect the reason for that is because of the active battle system.
You suck! Well, that's what you get for me.
It is kind of funny that if you go overkill on an enemy, like if you knock an enemy out, they'll just fall down.
King, my lord? Or maybe let him suffer just
but
a little
if
bit more?
you go overkill on them and hit them after they're down, they'll get up and run away.
Yes, sir. I'm just a baby. His powers were too strong. The bard, he's up in one of the rooms.
Alexander is pointing out to me that Butters just brought up his professional past as a gentleman who employs ladies of the night.
I'm not dead, you can't loot me yet.
I'm enjoying finding all the ways to say things that are South Parkian without using that language now.
Yeah, it's a challenge. I asked our reviews editor, Richard, about the tone I could take with the article, and I'm like, can I describe something that happens? It's like, maybe don't go into detail.
How thoroughly could I explain what is happening?
Right.
So, I know
we should give this in a really mean
we're going to get into a little bit of spoiler territory. This being a stream that's a little bit into the game, we're going to get into some spoiler territory. I know that at some point in Stick of Truth, the plot sort of goes beyond the game the kids are playing with each other.
Right.
How does that take shape? How far into the game does that go?
We're actually fairly close to it. Depending on how this stream goes, we will probably see it. The beginnings of it, anyway. But I will also tell you that it takes shape by... It's something totally unrelated to the Stick of Truth quest. Like, the kids aren't trying to make the game go any further than it does. It's just something totally not related to the kids' quest or anything happens. And from there, things start overlapping. One example, without giving too much away, but should be considered something of a spoiler, is, so the girls at one point want you to do a quest for them, and you go into a building that has come under attack by the extra thing that I'm trying hard not
We're
to
still doing this,
completely
right?
ruin. So like two forces kind of converge at the same place.
Hey,
It's more of a you know, in the right place at the wrong time, or other way around if you feel that way, rather than like anything purposefully trying to overcome.
I'm gonna mess you up, dude.
I love in the show that usually the girls are above whatever the boys are playing. That usually they're like, you guys are idiots, and what you're doing is profoundly stupid. What do the girls ask you to do?
Oh, the girls are above the boys' playing, but they're not above morally. They the whole joke with the girls is that they're all like back-talking little snooty brats. So they're actually asking each other, and they're asking you to figure out which one of them has gone and gotten an abortion. Which of these 8-year-old children has gotten an abortion? So, yeah. But it's funny, it's played off as funny because, they're like, oh, that whatever her name is such a lying little backstabbing prick, and then she shows up and it turns out she didn't have an abortion. They're like, we're so sorry, we love you. Yes, I love you too. And then they're like, it's okay because we knew the real lying snooty little B-word is someone else. So they just keep talking about each other behind their back and then get mad at the other girls for talking behind someone's back. So it's a very stereotypical girl against girl sort of thing. It's already bleeding.
Yeah, it's funny. I whenever you read anything that a writer who comes from another medium into writing the script for a video game, every time you read about a writer's experience in that situation, they tend to say the same thing. You know, they were unprepared for needing to write dialogue that's going to be repeated again and again and again. You know, like South Park, there might be callbacks to a joke, but there isn't a whole lot of repeated dialogue. You know, there aren't like the exclamations of, I'm going to say this funny thing that's the name of an attack or something like that.
Right.
Did you notice?
Where's the king? He's
any,
over there.
You know, did you get the sense that Trey Parker and Matt Stone adapted to the needs of writing video game dialogue as capably as they've sort of switched between television and movies and stage and whatnot?
Other than how, like I was saying, the story doesn't really change too much.
Princess is just being raped.
I would say that they did adapt pretty well. There's not a whole lot of repeated dialogue, and when it is, it's not specific enough to be annoying. Like, you know, they don't say, like you're saying, something that needs to be repeated ad
We gotta get to
nauseum.
the prince. Wait a minute, listen. They're raping the princess right now. We have to go. He's keeping her prisoner.
This scene. Anyway, so, yeah, I mean, like, you know, Butters says when he calls out the Hammer of Justice, he's like, by the Hammer of Butters! But it's not something that's, like, super repetitious, and he doesn't do it, like, too often. I don't know, it never really got too annoying. I mean, I love the episode Good Times with Weapons, which is where they have the anime version of all their characters. So, when I would summon Professor Chaos, or make Butters transform into Professor Chaos, even though he does the same animation every time, I found it really charming and cute because I like that episode. So, like most of the game, it depends on how much you love South Park.
Sam and I were both talking about this earlier on the Joystiq podcast, which will be available to download and listen to on Friday afternoon, so you guys can check it out then. But we were talking about how it's almost impossible to imagine what it would be like to play this game not knowing anything about South Park.
Can he do that? He has a stick of truth.
Like,
he can do what he wants.
I don't know what, and obviously that would be very difficult. it's hard to imagine anybody is going out and buying this game off the shelf or downloading it and being like, huh, I wonder what this funny little cartoon game is. It looks really silly. I'm gonna check it out, not knowing what South Park is at all.
Well, look at what we got here.
If you could put yourself in that mindset at all, Sam, do you think that this game would work?
Good job.
If somebody didn't know South Park even a little, and they just picked it up and stared playing it, do you think it would work?
As long as they saw the M rating and they weren't like, oh, a cute little child's game. You know what's funny is, this is total speculation on my part and not hopefully representative of humanity as it actually exists. But my guess is that you're going to have more kids try to pick this up and have their parents be like, no, you can't have that, that's inappropriate, than you have kids who try to pick up Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Having worked in retail, I feel like that is a fair assessment for me to make.
Out of curiosity, and not to digress too much, but like, what would you have said when you were working retail to a parent that walked up with like a 10-year-old and a copy of South Park, Stick of Truth? What would you have been like, you know, maybe a different choice, maybe a different game?
Well, whenever that happened with, like, when I was selling Grand Theft Auto to, like, a 10-year-old, I would just be like, I just want you to know that this game is rated M for mature, and these are all the things that are in it. And then I point to the back. And then they'd be like, that's okay, all his friends have it. And then I'd be like, alright, well, I'm glad that that's what you use to decide whether or not something's appropriate.
Right.
But it's not my place to tell them what to own, so if that's how they want to judge that it's appropriate, then that is what they can judge. So
Absolutely.
I gave them all the information that they needed to make an informed decision, and that's they don't go with what would I personally would. That's not my problem.
Just to note, I love that one of Kenny's attacks is the wave of rats. Like, that's amazing.
Did you notice what his special ability is with Charm?
No.
Well, I'll see if I can get into a combat, but the way that I got up to that room was by charming an enemy, and that means that Kenny pulls his shirt down and shows off his nipples.
Wizard King, step forward now and fulfill your
Does Kenny's family show up at any point? Does his dad and mom show up?
I actually don't remember ever seeing his dad, but I do see, you do see his mom.
Step forward now and fulfill your day. Your day. Your day. Step forward now and fulfill your
There we go. There's the skip prompt for Jimmy.
Destiny. You are no
I love
match for a
Jimmy.
grand
Jimmy's one of my
wizard.
favorite
The
characters.
stick belongs with us, and I shall use every bonding power in my class to keep it from you. Fine. You want to throw down, brah? Kick his ass, douchebag. Who is douchebag?
It's really,
That's
like,
Sir Douchebag to you, and he's about
it
to teach you
speaks
some manners,
to
Bard.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone's skill as writers that they can take something that seems like a one-note joke, like something just wildly base and inappropriate, and
I was gonna say,
turn
it's
it
not even just a one-note joke, it's what you would think would be like a one-note hurtful joke, but Jimmy is, like, really cool.
Right, Jimmy is like an awesome character. The episode where he and Timmy tried to become Bloods.
I love that.
After they try to join the Crips.
Come on.
Because they're tired of, like, the Crips gang claiming to be crippled.
What are we waiting for?
God, that episode's amazing.
Cool.
Sleep now, the whippoorwills are dancing. Gently now, put your mind to rest.
So,
Set him up and
what just happened in the game is one of my kind of, like, slightly peeve things, where Jimmy cast a spell, Lullaby, and it, you know, told me to mash A in order to not fall asleep. And I did, and my character stayed awake, but Butters fell asleep. And, like, maybe that's just how that particular fight is scripted, but there were times where somebody would shoot something at me, and I would press to deflect in time, but it wouldn't actually let both characters block. Like only one.
Oh, you dirty wench!
Blocking.
You know, somebody else mentioned it in
Feel my righteous fury!
in the chat a little bit earlier that there are all these sort of classic South Parkian settings that didn't make it into this game that you almost wish they could have. And obviously, like, Imagination Land cannot be put in the South Park video game. Like, they can't put Luke Skywalker in here and Freddy Krueger and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right.
Because, you know, the legal quagmire of making that happen is a nightmare. I wish that could happen so badly. I wish that South Park Stick of Truth culminated with going to Imagination Land, where all of fictional history, you know, exists in one place. That it would be the video game to end all video games. If you could have, like, Luke Skywalker and Lion-O from the Thundercats and Butter and, like, Mega Man.
Right.
Close your eyes, no more thinking about your troubles. Sleep now with...
Well, like, and there's other places, too, that don't get explored, like, you know, you never go to Casa Bonita.
Oh, you never go to Casa Bonita?
No, you never go to Casa Bonita.
Oh!
I'm sorry to break that to you. I know that I've clearly just ruined your day.
Do you ever get the future otters?
Oh no, that would have been a good one too from Go God Go. No, that would have been a good summon, but no, they also don't show up. At least not that I found. I was kind of confused because I thought that I had, you know, gotten every collectible and done everything I could in my other save file, but I never fought the crab people.
The crab people are in it?
Yeah, the crab. Well, here's the thing: is like I remember looking at the game's pre-release footage and screenshots and stuff, and there was definitely a battle against the crab people, and that never happened. So I don't know if that's something that got cut or what the deal, or if I missed it or something like that. But yeah, the crab people just show up as a tiny little thing.
I hereby make you an official member of the Kingdom of Koopa King. Welcome
What's
to
that?
the KKK.
I said Crab People DLC.
It's getting late. The Grand Wizard
I would
needs
play
to go
it.
night-night.
Okay, Mom.
Crab people.
It tastes like crab,
It's a
looks
school
like
night,
people,
hon.
crab
You
people.
and your little
It's
druid friends.
tastes
We're
like
not
crab.
druids, Mom.
Talk like people.
We're fucking warriors and wizards.
That's it. You're going to bed. The rest of you better get home
Dursley
too.
in the chat has said that you can take $175 in the game and go to Tom's Rhinoplasty and get the Hasselhoff nose job.
Yes, and it will turn your character's face into a picture of David Hasselhoff's face. You know, kind of like they did in that episode with Mel Gibson, where they took his face and just made it, like, flap to make it talk. Same thing they did with Saddam Hussein in the movie. Let's see. Upgrade available. So...
Does Satan show up at any point?
He gets referenced, but I never saw him.
It's late, honey. Your parents will
I'll
be
actually
worried.
see if I can go do that now. Since, well, everything's dark, so I don't know if it'll let me go certain places, but we'll find out.
Alright, so why doesn't it let you go certain places when it's dark out?
Well, I don't know. I've never tried to go somewhere when it's dark.
Huh.
So, it just never honestly occurred to me. I was like, the game's like, go home, and I'm like, okay, that sounds like a good idea, game. So
I'll do whatever you say, game.
Right. Alright, let's see if I can get these rats to go away. There we go. Alright. Okay, so I need to go... So the reason that I'm gonna hopefully remember the right path through here. But these
there
woods...
you are!
Oh,
We've been looking all over for you! You are grounded, mister! You march right on home and go to sleep!
So that's apparently what happens when you go somewhere
Now,
not
I want
supposed
you to go to bed and
when
think
it's
about
dark.
what you've
It's
done.
your parents come and get you. So...
That is awesome.
I'll try to make it somewhere extra by the end of the stream, but
I hope you're
so
as happy
this
as
is
we are.
so this is
Everything's
actually
going to be
remember
better
how you
now
asked
that we're in
earlier
this
about
quiet
like
little mountain
how do things escalate and get bigger than the quest. This night is where things start going wrong. and have a little cutscene.
Man, that is a great touch that your parents come and get you.
Mm-hmm.
I like that your character lies in bed with his 3D glasses on as well.
Yeah.
I'm having
He takes
a dream
off everything
again.
else, but not.
Okay, dreaming.
What's
So this is a scene
happening?
that is censored
Oh,
in the UK.
Jesus.
So
Jesus Christ! Oh,
Oh, do we
can
have
try
any,
the big
for
silver
anyone
one
in the
again?
chat, do we have
Oh.
British viewers who are now getting the uncensored South Park Stick of Truth experience? Is that what's taking place?
or
Mr.
Australian.
Maggie has been abducted by. Wait, they're watchers? Is that what they say on South Park?
Yeah, I think they're called the Watchers.
Mr. Slave shows up. Yes.
So, this
Is this your
game.
first time getting probed?
So the
Yeah, it's
white
a pain,
probe
but
didn't quite
this is
do
the kind
it,
of
so they
stuff
brought
you
in
put
the
up
black
with living in a
probe.
remote little mountain town.
Naturally.
At least we don't have to deal
Yeah.
with traffic. Hey, you broke free! Kid, you have an incredible control of your asshole. Get me loose too!
Does the probe give you powers?
It does. You're about to see them, but first I'm going to put on my armor because the first time I played through this, I totally didn't even stop and think about how I can put on armor. So, let's see. I'll actually do the wood elf this time. Gloves. And...
I have to say, I love the design of the menus as like a sort of fake social network. It is, you know, it's nothing too flashy, it's nothing dramatic, but man, it really, really looks good. It
Wow,
looks-
look at that!
It's just
you must have
smart,
broke off part of the
smartly
probe and now
done.
you can control it with your sphincter muscles. Pretty cool. I'm
So
surrounded
the
by some kind
alien
of force
probe,
field. Go find a way to
my
shut it
character
off.
broke
when you
it
break me
off
free, I can show you
into
how to get off the
his-
ship.
into his anus, and so now using my sphincter muscles, I can control it, and I can use it to teleport wherever you see these little blue teleporty things.
That is
Try and
the
free
best
Randy.
justification for teleportation in a game I have ever witnessed.
It's very South Park.
Does it let you quick travel?
It does not, but quick travel in the game is by certain points. You have to find these flags on the map, and then Timmy will come around in a sleigh pulled by a stuffed horse, and he is fast travel to that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's a yeah.
This is a true story. So, again, sort of possibly betraying my age, I was in college when Timmy debuted on the show.
Oh yeah.
And there was a week-long period where I would just go to class or hang out. There was an arcade. I would go to the arcade, Playland, and people would just be walking around going, Timmy! And I had no idea what was going on. And I just thought it was the weirdest new slang I had ever heard. And didn't bother to ask. So for like a week-long period, I would go around doing the Timmy voice, not knowing it was a reference to a show, and just thought it was a thing.
It was just a fad.
Just thought it was a fad, and I'm like, I'm fitting in. We're all saying Timmy? Fine.
I'm part of the group.
I'm part of the group. It didn't occur to me that this was possibly from the same place that, you know, was bringing everyone to say, what's up?
Ooh.
Dating yourself. Oh my god. Little known fact, there was always the rumor that the Watchers, the aliens on South Park, are somehow hidden in every single episode. Not true.
I remember
Not
that
hidden.
rumor.
Ooh.
Yep, not true. They're hidden in many episodes. They every now and again will just plug in like one of their faces or an outline of one in the background, but it is not every episode.
Ooh.
So one thing that I don't quite get, well, I guess I understand the reasoning for it, but between battles, you will notice that my health and my power points regenerate. However, my mana does not. So that kind of stinks a little bit, but it's not like... The justification is that, you know, your mana is your farts and you have to eat in order to fart, so...
I like that. I like that.
I'm gonna try and take out the alien here.
Moo 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 moo. Moo 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 moo.
There we go. As you see me go through the menu, you also notice that like health potions are cookies and cream fraiche.
I'm so happy that cream fraiche is included.
It's a health potion.
Is it weird that you know? Do you think that it takes away from the South Park tone that there isn't like a lot of cultural reference points? Because the show for the better part of its existence has always been playing on things in popular culture right at the moment that episode is made. And obviously with a game, this has been in production for years. So they can't do the same sort of thing that they do when writing the show and have all of these, you know, very topical reference points. Do you think does that change the way it feels? Does that make it feel less South Parky, or does it, you know, does it have a different tone?
I would say that it does have a different tone just because of, like you were saying, that they can't do all of those cultural reference moments that they usually do. Also, I'm standing in front of the door because maybe this is the first time I'm going to come up against one of those glitches. My controller stopped reading input, so I might have to switch over to the mouse and keyboard.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, indeed. Oh, nope, there it goes again. Okay, good. But yeah, so... They don't have... They do make one contemporary reference, but for the most part, it's all, like, jokes that are...
Can't remember which one you want,
I hesitate to call them timeless, because that implies that they're, like, classy, I feel. Because they are certainly not. But, you know, jokes that don't rely on, you know, you understanding current events. But let's just go down here. So, like, this for example, that I'm about to interact with, is one of the audio logs that I mentioned in the podcast how, like, the jokes they make are more about, like, game design and what you typically see in games.
So hungry. I've searched for food, but the only thing I've found are other people's annoying, useless audio logs. Why did they bother when they clearly were in terrible danger? Each audio log I find is more irrelevant and boring than the last. I must keep looking for a way to survive.
This, you know, looking at this this spaceship sequence, it really reminds me of Space Quest. The old, you know, Sierra adventure games from once upon a time.
Really?
They had a lot of, yeah, they had a lot of these, they had a lot of sequences where you were trying to, like, work your way through, you know, a security points on a spaceship viewed in profile just like this. It is bizarre.
Moo, moo.
Yeah.
For those of you just joining us, we are coming close to the end of our hour here on Joystiq Streams. We've got 15 minutes left of South Park, The Stick of Truth. Sam Prell is playing a chunk of the game for your viewing pleasure. Fairly early on in the game, but not right at the beginning. This is right when the story sort of kicks into high gear. There have been many farts, to tell you, to catch you up on what's been happening. And right now Sam is trying to escape an alien ship after being anally probed. Because it is a South Park game. As Balrog in the chat has just pointed out, not so much anal probing in Space Quest. Hey man, maybe it was in the original version. Totally possible that there was an anal probing centric version of Space Quest. That's not possible at all. That never happened. Not a thing. Just not true.
Go. Once again, I had some difficulties with the game receiving my input, so I don't know if that's like maybe something due to how I've got my setup. I have about a bajillion things plugged into my computer right now to play this thing, but there we go. Just take. All right.
Great, you're there. See if you can free me from that console. Probably not, though. It's incredibly advanced alien technology. No way some kid could work it.
Nope, right-clicking makes you fart, so that ain't it. That makes it.
That's a Windows Vista feature, right? Right-clicking makes you fart, but only on Windows Vista. Also not a thing, totally made up. Anybody viewing at home, do not fire up Windows Vista and right-click on things expecting it to cause farts.
Keep going.
As delightful as that would be.
So here you have to play Simon Says in order to prevent Randy from getting anally probed.
I'm still stuck. Better try the other console.
Artemis the MP in the chat is asking why play on PC and not PlayStation 3.
Day 4.
Sam, this was just the review copy made available to you, right?
To get me up
yeah, well,
just more audio logs. They're
funny
everywhere.
story.
For some reason, I listened to every minute of every one of them, thinking there'd be some useful information.
I did get a 360 copy sent to me, however, it did not arrive quite correctly, like it was sent to the wrong apartment, so my landlord was just holding it for me, and I didn't realize it was there because my landlord never bothered to tell me. So that was fun. But as for why play on PC, apparently, according to word on the street, it's one of the more stable builds of the game. But other than that, I mean, like, I don't think that you would really see too much of a difference other than the controls. But I mean, I prefer playing with my Xbox 360 controller that's hooked up to my PC. It's just not quite receiving the inputs correctly, so I've disconnected it for now.
There's no wild bloom lighting in the PC version. Advanced particle effects in South Park.
No, nothing, nothing that would really stand out. I can't tell how to fart on this thing. I don't know how to fart when I'm using a mouse and keyboard!
It's not right-clicking?
Well, it is, but that just makes me do a regular fart. I need to cup a spell. Oh man,
I love this game.
I played through all the tutorials with my Xbox controller. I don't know what to do. Okay, let's figure this out. There we go. Just set him on fire. Nope, I don't know how to dodge. Well, maybe people will see the end of it.
Yeah, people in the chat were asking about replay value earlier in the stream. I think we've discovered a brand new way to slide the difficulty on South Park Stick of Truth.
Oh, I found it! It's right-clicking, if I can survive. Alright, let's see.
Wow, battles can turn on you quickly.
Like I said, if you don't participate in the active timing and everything, if you mistime something, you take way more damage. So, like, yeah, if I stop dodging. So if I were to not block his attack like that, 46 damage per hit. He just does, it's should really make sure that you time your attacks, because there's just no point in even trying if you can't time your attacks. Oh, F is the part. Of course, F part. Joy, why did I not think of that? You know, it's because I
Day 7. Okay, I did find one audio log that was mildly amusing. A woman trapped on this ship left an audio log about some papers she had left in an alien cabinet, and she told me the code was 776. That was kind of cool because I didn't know the code before that. Though when I opened the cabinet, there was only some kind of power-up.
Some of the incidental animations in this game are amazing. Like, watching the little alien guy get up and run away at the end of a fight is awesome. I love too when you use a healing item, just like the typical stubby South Park limb of just like holding up the little like nub hand to their mouth. It's awesome. I love the production values on this.
Yes, it is absolutely true in every way that you could hope to the animation and feel of the show. Like, it's, if nothing else, the game is absolutely praiseworthy in that sense, in that it absolutely nails looking and feeling like an episode of South Park.
There! I think that...
I am really hoping that,
try again.
if nothing else, they, you know, I hope this is successful enough that they are willing to continue making these. Because it seems like something that, you know, you were talking about how the game lasts for about 30 hours if you do 100% completion, right?
Sorry, say that again. I was distracted by Randy screaming.
The game lasts about 30 hours if you do... Randy is just screaming again.
Okay, that one doesn't work either. Head back towards the elevator.
Wow, that is explicit.
Yeah. Yep. It's...
Okay, I didn't want you to have to do this, but there's one more console you can try in that room across the way.
The alien who works there is really tough, so be careful.
Remember to use electricity.
Elias Bakos in the chat just said, just tuned in again, and this is the bit that's banned here in Oz.
Moo moo.
Oh, nice.
We're providing a service.
We are. Joystiq bringing you all the anal probing scenes at other sites. Whoa.
Whoa! Nothing but anal probing action here on Joystiq streams. I don't think we will ever say that again.
Well, I mean, you can hope.
One lives in hope. Yeah, I say that, and then Prey 2 will finally come out one day. Everything will be different.
You made me sad now.
Yeah, that might have been the most obscure reference I possibly could have pulled out.
I saw the trailer for that game and I was so excited, and then it was like, nah, bro, it ain't probably ever gonna happen. And I was sad again. Let's see, we'll eat a Subway sandwich. No. Alright, let's see. Who can I...
Space medicine.
You also get Space Cash, which is, I'm sure you know, a reference to an episode. Also, so I don't know if you saw this. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
The weapon that I'm using for range is the Mongolian bow.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's little touches like that that, you know, fans will appreciate. It's just that, like, you know, if you never watched that episode, you'd be like, why is it called the Mongolian bow? Is that just like some racist joke? Which it is.
Just seem racist.
It is a racist joke, but it also has a history and a reason, so who knows?
A rich history.
Moo! And you're Mongolian! You broke down my shitty wall!
Artemis Legna in the chat, I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but is asking if Baby Fart McGeezax is also in the game. Speaking of Space Cat.
Don't recall seeing that. I don't know. He's not in there. Not that I saw. I mean, like I said, sometimes some of the references are made like a little bit on the sly, so maybe they're not actually, you know, a character or something, but you know, like just seeing Space Cash will remind you of that episode. So while he may not show up as a character, or you might not see like his ship or the police, the space police, you do get to see Space Cash. And I've just rescued...
Hey, that did it! The force field's down! Come on
Randy.
back and we can get out of here!
So, now that you've rescued Randy, unfortunately we're coming up to the end of the stream.
I was gonna say, that's actually kind of good timing though, is that
That's pretty good timing. Just to give people a little bit of a preview. What happens next?
Okay,
where do
use
you
this panel
go
here and we can all go
once
home.
you've freed Randy?
Well, the next step for the quest for the Stick of Truth...
Man, I'm gonna be sore tomorrow.
Let's see, what does happen next? I know that you have the stick back, so that you don't have to do anything with that. Oh, a new villain appears.
Oh, you did it!
And what you're gonna see here is that,
I don't know who you are or
it'll
if you're
probably
real, but
be just
consider
after
me
the
your
stream
friend.
ends, but you'll take out the
Until we
captain
meet
of the
again.
ship, and the ship will crash, start leaking this green ooze all over. And the green ooze turns people into Nazi zombies.
Of course it does!
So, from there, the government gets involved to stop the Nazi zombie invasion, and you have to take on... So that's where things start, like, crossing over into each other, is where you have... Because you'll have the government who's trying to stop the Nazi zombies, and you'll have the kids who are trying to play Stick of Truth at the same time. So things just kind of get worse and worse. You know, the zombie infection spreads, and the kids, a new enemy is introduced, and you have to start rallying up allies, and so you're kind of fighting on two fronts, if that makes sense.
Alright.
But yeah, if I can beat this battle in 4 minutes, which is how much time we have left, then you'll see what happens at the end of beating the spaceship and the alien zombie goose.
Well, just to fill everybody watching at home in on what's been going on, this has been Joystiq Streams. Sam Prell has been playing South Park: The Stick of Truth. If you would like to know what Sam thinks about South Park: The Stick of Truth in totality, go to joystiq.com and read his review. You can catch our streams every Tuesday and Thursday right here on twitch.tv/joystiq at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. To give you a little bit of a preview, next Tuesday, naturally, we will be playing Titanfall. The Xbox One edition of Titanfall, hopefully with a full 6-man team of Joystiq staffers. And that will be here at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we are going to be doing something a little bit different than that. We're going to be streaming a little indie game known as Towerfall, which was once upon a time an Ouya exclusive. It is now going to be available on PlayStation 4 and Steam. And not only are we going to be playing Towerfall, but the creator of Towerfall, Matt Thorson, is going to be joining us for that. Playing with us and talking about the game as we go. So please tune into that. Please like us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/joystiq. Follow us on Twitter if you ever want to get updates on when we're going to be streaming, what's going on at the website. Please listen to the Super Joystiq podcast, which goes up every single Friday. You can review that on iTunes and download it. Sam and I will be on tomorrow's episode. And, yeah. Sam, any parting words for the audience?
We sure do appreciate seeing you, folks. Come back next time on Christmas.
All right, everybody. Thank you again. It was a lovely time seeing you all here, and we'll catch you on Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.